Hello, Port Townsend. This is Reverend Crystal Cox, Goddess Church. This is an update on the Michael Allmain story. I have already, I'm going to get a tissue. I've already cried, so I'm not going to cry right now, but you know, you never know. Okay, so that kind of gives the story away. Today is February 18th, 2021. I moved to Port Townsend thinking Port Townsend was really cool, right? Fighting for immigrant rights and really like the little man and just, you know, into the environment and into the, you know, the whales and the otters and the shorelines and all these really cool things to do and organics and sustainability and, you know, I was discouraged at a lot of the things that the county and the city do that are not of high integrity, and that's been over the last, you know, I moved here in 2012. But I just thought they loved dogs, and I thought they loved dog owners, and I thought, you know, this thing with Michael Allmain is really showing who Port Townsend is, the government. Now the people, freaking amazing, the people you see in the streets, you know, all the way across the board, on all sides of the political spectrum, there is awesome people in Port Townsend, just everywhere. And, but the Port Townsend government, I think that the police are ran by the people, right? So whoever pays the most taxes and makes the most noise, and the prominent people, you know, they tell the police what to do and they do it. And so, I haven't had any bad experience with the Port Townsend police myself, and I haven't really witnessed any. There was one a little bit with the guy screaming for a blanket and the cops came, but I've seen a lot of different incidences of Port Townsend police picking people up and not really witnessed anything too nefarious. However, this is in the hands of the county attorney. The people that took the dog, so we got all the do-gooders, right? You got the I don't want to name specifically, so we'll just say a vet, people in the Humane Society, people in the government, people that are like, oh, well, this dog needs help. And so the guy, homeless, okay, people can freeze to death, people can live in their cars, we'll just spend tons of money trying to figure out what's wrong with them, right? I was going to do another video about this, and I will, but just real quick, just this thing, the bathrooms downtown Port Townsend, right? Next door there's a meeting center. Okay, I was living in a car, probably like a dozen people that live in cars, and then the people at the homeless shelter all kind of came out around 8 a.m. in the morning, right? It was last summer. And so we're all going to go to the bathroom, right? Because they open, and because of, no, actually this was the summer, so this was pre-COVID. Or just before that happened. So yeah, so it might have been last spring or whatever. But the point is that, so you have the homeless shelter letting out at 8, and you have all of the folks that live in cars and stuff coming in. We're going to use the bathroom, right? And right next to the bathroom is a conference center. Well, they have meetings. This is one of many where they have mental health people, they have, right, social services people, they have government people from all over, right? So massive amounts of money in the room, right, being paid at wages. Homeless people, you know, they're kind of like in the bubble, and the homeless people are circling around, right? Because we're all there for our morning, whatever we need to do, you know, brush our teeth or whatever we got to do in the morning. And so then they're in there trying to figure out what we need. They're talking to, and they're looking at papers and mental studies, and they got grants and they got awards and they got all their money to pay their wages to talk about what we need. No common sense, no thinking at all about humanity at all, right? Just like the dog, and I might do two tonight, because I kind of want to get into that, but I want to have this story out there. I was right outside. They could have asked me, hey, what do you need? What do you need? Oh no, we can't, because the homeless people are drug addicts. They are derelicts, they are losers, they are dirty, they have no brain, they have no rights, they have no human rights, they have no civil rights, they have no... Because they don't have a home. Now, if you have a home, you don't really own it anyway, right? Because you're paying the taxes so you can run around the cops and everybody, right? So, and the coronavirus has showed us that that doesn't really matter. My videos didn't... I know, this is another tangent. I'm going to stay off the Michael Allmain story for 1 second here. So they're all in that room, and they're figuring out what we need when they could go outside and ask any of us. So all of us, and what I say in all my videos, as homeless people, are individuals, different people, right? Some live in cars, some live in bars. No, it's not a Dr. Seuss rhyme. We're not all drug addicts, okay? You can be a drunk or a drug addict and live in a house. You don't have to be homeless to do that. So they're trying to figure out what the mental issue is. They're claiming that they go for housing first. But a housing first program goes for, put them all in houses, then decide all the things you're going to bully on them to tell them how mentally ill they are. They just don't have money. Why don't they have money? They don't have a job? Well, no, many of them make 20 bucks an hour, right? You can't, I've had chunks of money. You can't get into the housing if you don't have a housing history, if you don't have credit. And then, as you heard with Michael Allman's interview, Reverend crystalcox@gmail.com, if you haven't seen this stuff, he was on the side of the highway here for a whole day. No one would even give him a jump so he could start his car. I haven't experienced that. But being, a man and having a dog, maybe people were afraid. But, come on, it's pretty obvious what we need, okay? We need like a battery jump thing. We need blankets that plug into the cigarette lighter. Well, the cigarette lighter was called. Nowadays they call them the whatever. Anyway, we need gas to keep the car warm. We need food. We need the same things you do. We just live in a car or a tent or at the shelter. We're still human. So, and we still have a voice. It's like we're like, just could use a sandwich, or at the window going, how about just a sandwich, a blanket? They're in there going, I wonder if sandwiches would help. I don't know. You think blankets would help? It's kind of like the Aflac commercial, right? The goose going, Aflac. I wonder what kind of insurance I should buy. Aflac. We're all circling. It's obvious what we need, right? We need the basics, a place to shower, right? A place to sleep, a place to be warm. Basic income stuff, basic stuff to get us back in the system, because we don't have credit, we don't have history, we don't have, it's not just get a job, you loser, Well, we're the losers, they're the non-losers, and they're getting paid big money to try to figure out what us losers need, right? And I'm not saying they're in there calling us losers, but how is it humane to not ask us what we need? How about we're dogs? We have no voice, we're just there, but they see that we are sentient beings. They see that we are a living, breathing animal of sorts on two legs. They give us HIPAA rights. They pick us up when we're hungry. They take us to shelter. They save us from freezing to death in a tent. Right? But they don't do that in Port Townsend. They do that for dogs. And they'll steal them from the owners. And they don't care if they kill themselves or not. Who cares, right? We love dogs. We hate people. So, but they didn't even treat us like we're okay, so we're animals on two legs, we have no voice, as sentient beings. No. It's okay if you sleep outside. It's okay if you, and I get it, there's people that want to keep doing that, but that's because the system isn't there to build back up. And you got these people judging them, these people judging them, but that's always been so profound to me that meeting, calling on all those volunteers, was in that building, and we're outside. And they won't ask us what we need because we're too dirty and grimy and weird and poor and gross and whatever reason. It's pretty obvious. There's 50 of us out there when everything lets out. Couldn't ask one of us? Couldn't have a conversation with any of the people because you're better than us? You know more than us because you have a job? You know what? We've had money and jobs too, but we don't choose that system and that reality. Okay? And so, well, then you should be punished if you don't want to live in an apartment. No, we could just use some basic needs of life. But if you don't want to do anything for us, then stop frickin' using us, okay? So I'd be like, we gotta have a meeting, figure out what's wrong with those homeless people. Okay, everybody, $20 to $50 to $150 an hour, folk. Come on down. Oh, let's get in some volunteers and make it look good. And then we'll get some grants and a bunch more money for us to keep talking about what they need while they're at the window starving to death and freezing to death. And you go out the back door and you steal their dogs and you save them. Okay? Okay. I'm going to be honest with you folks. I'm not really here to save the dog. Michael Allman's worth saving, and nobody's listening.
I've put it out to anybody and everybody everywhere, but you know what? And I know this in my spiritual work, you can't change fate, right? Unless the people involved change. I mean, maybe Michael has to experience this. This is something that God wants him to experience. I trust that. I trust that Moses, the dog, is where he needs to be. And I trust all of that. But I'll never be in love with Port Townsend again. The city. They know. My videos went viral here in Port Townsend for a while. They know there's a homeless guy out there. Alone. Lonely. Cold. Chilly, you know. He doesn't have his best friend. And he may not make it. And I was always here to save the man, not just the dog. And I don't know if I can. I've asked for help in any way that I can to help this man. It went viral. Everybody knew I was this big hit. Oh, hey, that's really bad. That happened. Oh, yes, oh, yes. But will you show up to a court hearing? Will you stand up to his asshole attorney? I'll tell you the update of what's going on now, right? He don't have his dog. He don't have no hope of having his dog. Doesn't know where his dog is. No rights at all. You can't tell me that these people that live in houses in Port Townsend don't have this right. So no, I don't love Port Townsend anymore. And who's ever watching this, do not trust that this is a compassionate town, that they care about the homeless and they care about mental health. The number one thing, the mental health of a homeless person, if they have a dog, is that dog. And again, if you see my other videos, you know I'm not a dog person. It's not about that. He's got a child. He's got people who give a shit about him. But the dog made him give a shit about himself. And the dog made him have a will to live. And I have fought as hard as I can and prayed as hard as I can. And I can't do anything. I can't create the money. I can sure create people going, that's illegal. Like that Wade guy or whatever at the Port Townsend community page that shut me off. It's illegal to try to get money. Can't get him any money to try to help him to uphold his legal rights. He's got an appointed attorney now because he's a criminal, right? They don't treat him like he has any rights because he's nothing. Right? He's nothing. And why? Why? All right. Well, there's a lot more in that story. So the update is there was a court hearing. Gosh, it was like, I think sometime back in December. And that was the last time I'd heard from Michael. And to be honest, I didn't think he was still around. He is for now. So there was that. And that was like in December or whatever. So then there's another one here and it says that was supposed to, alright, so his attorney asked for a continuance for the court date and didn't ask Michael or check in with Michael on it. So public attorneys can do whatever they want. I get it. I left a message and said, you know, I used to be a millionaire and we fought. Attorneys treated us like shit too, right? The justice system's like, you got no rights here, you know. Innocent until proven guilty. Not in Port Townsend. He is guilty, and his companion is taken, his service dog, his mental health dog, whether it's a legal service dog or not in the system because maybe he couldn't afford it, it's still a service dog and in a big way. And I think that any experts that testified to this would agree with me. Him not having his dog, luckily people rallied around him after the videos and stuff. But that's waning now. Nobody stood up for him. Nobody went to court for him. They still have his dog. There's no end in sight to when he's going to get his dog. And people are like, oh, that poor guy. But they didn't stand up to help. And they still think Port Townsend's pet friendly. We got to let the dogs in the restaurants. We got to let the dogs everywhere. We love our dogs. What? So they love this dog. And some of the people involved, the main one especially, kept trying to, wanted the dog before this happened.
there's a track record of this, but how does he get a chronology of events and get everything? I did this for myself pro se, and the court's still massive corruption. But the attorney running the rights, he's got no rights, right? And at some point, I know I say that in my different videos, but at some point there will be money, and all of this will be brought forward, and everybody involved will be sued. But my heart is broken, not for the dog or Michael in this moment, but because I was in love with this town. I was in love with Port Townsend, and I'm heartbroken. I am absolutely heartbroken. I didn't think that this was Port Townsend. I thought this was, some town in Montana, like where I came from. I thought this was some place, I just didn't know that people were that cruel here. I thought that the city of Port Townsend was nice and compassionate and really liked dogs and people and wouldn't do this. If he's committed a crime, okay, but why keep the dog from him? I mean, and what's the crime and what's the, why can't he have basic human rights? And why are they allowed to just take your dog? And especially the homeless people, you read all the stuff they say about the stuff at the fairgrounds and all the different, they have no clue who homeless people are because they're refusing to look at the fact that homeless people are people. All different educations, all different reasons for being homeless, okay? They need individual services, rights, privacy, okay? Not just keep throwing money at OLICAP, calling it good, and then making some new this and new that. And, OLICAP's bumped up the game a little bit out there because they're getting a lot of pressure from what's going on. But have you read that? It's on my porttownsendnews.blogspot.com, and then I got an OLICAP site too linked on there, that Port Townsend tries to sell itself as being housing first, or that they're even trying that model. But then they get some money to build housing. They're like, oh, well, we could build it on a mental health facility. Right, so we can come in and we can give that doctor $500 for an hour to make us okay. Or we could go to the emergency room and give them, $20,000 because we cut ourselves or something. Then we get thrown right back out in the street. We can't get that money as a housing voucher. We can't get that money to go get housing, but we can give it to the doctors, therapists. They use us, okay, and they don't help us. So the system is broken, and these videos are not helping, and I do not mean to be cynical, but I do have some people that give a shit. But the city of Port Townsend absolutely does not, okay? And that's where my heartbreak is. I've heard from Michael. I know he's okay for tonight. And so I thought that I've learned a lot about, with the lockdown too, what liberal means and what the democratic government means, and it's broke my heart. All the lies, all the corruption, ruining people's lives, ruining people's businesses, and then keep finding them and finding them and finding them and finding them. That's sick. Port Townsend's not the city I thought it was. I am madly in love with the waterfront and the animals and the buildings and the cool people. But the city of Port Townsend, it's not me. It's you. I do not have any more love for the city. This is just sick. Yeah. All right, so they pushed the court. His attorney didn't ask him for a continuance. The attorney got one anyway. And then there's a court date for March 31st. And then that's just to confirm a trial for April 29th. And that'll be 5 months that he's been away from the dog. Never ever leaves his dog's side. Didn't have a vehicle, finally got a camper. Got a ride from a friend to go to the store, to Costco or Walmart or something, and get some supplies for his new camper. Couldn't take his dog. Left it in the friend's yard, clipped. It was unclipped by someone else, went to the dog park, because dogs do that. Homeless. Penniless. No dog. Standing criminal trial. That's the city of Port Townsend. And don't tell me I don't have all the facts. Of course I don't. But I have enough to win this case. But that don't matter. It's who you know. It's pay to play. That's how the system works. It's the just us system. Just us that are involved, right? So here's your update. Michael don't have his dog.
I'm going to meet him soon. I'm going to hold on as tight as I can. Try to give him hope. But I can't help him. I can't get people to wake up. I can't get the county or the government to give a shit. They're all like, that girl, who's she? She's just another one of them, right? We're the righteous ones. We know what's best for that dog. And we're going to criminalize that guy. Meanwhile, what? We had someone die at the fairgrounds, right? Because they didn't prosecute it. They didn't go after drugs or anything that was actually illegal, that actually killed and hurt people. Nah, we're going to ignore all that. But the dog, oh my God, let's save that dog. But that two-legged thing with him, oh, bad, 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 bad.
That's Jefferson County, Washington, Port Townsend. I'm shocked. I'm not in love with you anymore, Port Townsend. Absolutely not. And for those of you in the justice system that don't respect me or think I'm a kook or whatever, I don't care. I know God, I know Spirit, I know myself, and I know what's right, and I can read. I know what's going on. It's pretty sick that you guys are bulldogging, no pun intended, forward on this crime with the shit you let happen here. And I've seen it. It's sick. So who's ever controlling you to ground this guy into the dirt over loving his dog or not loving his dog enough or whatever, it's sick. All the things you turn a blind eye to here in Port Townsend, including all this lockdown crap and ruining everybody's lives and businesses for what? Facts? Science? No. So focus on the dog. Okay, maybe you can get Michael 10 years in prison. Maybe the death sentence, huh? Sick. So there's your update on the Michael Allmain and Moses story. It's gone nowhere. It's perhaps gotten worse. But we now know the truth about Port Townsend and Jefferson County. So when you see them talking about, we got the Humane Society, we do the dogs, we do the good for the homeless, we do... Nope, no way. Email me, reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. I don't care if they call me every name in the book. Okay, I could be every name in the book. And I could be a train robber and I could be all these things, but doesn't mean what I'm saying isn't true. Okay, get your facts yourself. I know that people out there care about you, Michael. I hear it all the time. But the people don't have the power. The corrupt, oppressive, sick government does. And it is sick to be grinding him into the ground like this in a criminal trial and keep his dog away from him to the point where he may not be here much longer. With all the crimes you ignored that actually ended up in people's death and abuse. Ignoring the like I said, the stuff with lockdowns, there's thieves, there's stolen, I've seen like $50,000 equipment pieces and all this stuff stolen. Oh, we can't do anything about that. But, oh, this guy, we're gonna, right? And I don't blame the police. It's not the police. It's these ninnies, these prominent people that think that they're all that. They were stripped of their wealth and their all that. See, could they live in a car? Do they know God? Do they know Goddess? Do they know their higher self? Do they talk to their own spirit guides? Do they know what's going on in the world? Do they know how to heal their body? They just listen to the government. But when it comes to dogs, they stand up and they assert their force. We pay your wages. We pay your... Guess what? The homeless people are paying your freaking wages too. Okay, we're paying those stupid taxes. For all this, let's buy $50,000 in art. Okay, let's do this, let's do that. All this massive amounts of money and wages for people just to, fluff themselves more while people are dying in the streets. It makes no sense. Anyway, there's the Michael Allmain update. Again, if you want to donate to my church, it's bbgoddesschurch@gmail.com. Michael's PayPal, I feel so negative about it because nobody even gave a shit anyway. I think it's allmanmichael@gmail.com. Again, my email is reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. Message me about any of this. I don't mean for this to be negative. I love the land of Port Townsend, and I love the mountains and the building, and I love all you amazing people. This goes on, and it's really showing who everybody involved is. And
if you're the praying kind, give him a prayer, okay? I don't think I can help him. And I don't know how much longer he'll be around. But I'm right with God, and I know that I've done everything I can. So as his depression sinks, and as he hangs on, I'll be there best I can. Pray for him, and if there's anything you can do to get him to see his dog and save him, both of them, please do it. God bless you all.